So everybody should see on their screen, we're going to get started in a couple minutes, but you should see on your screen that you have the opportunity to put some questions in the chat feature if you've never used Zoom before. We're using the webinar feature. This is the first time we're using this at the high school. We weren't sure how many people we would be getting, so we wanted to make sure that we had enough space available, and the webinar opportunity gives us that option. The only issue is that you don't see everybody else in the meeting. You only see the people that are the panelists. But it also, for security reasons, it's a good thing too, because we can monitor the questions and answer them as they come in. So you can use either the Q&A feature, which you'll see down at the bottom, or the chat feature. And we'll be able to answer questions throughout the chat. Mr. Frederick is going to be monitoring the questions, and we'll answer as many as we can. There's going to be a question and answer period after our presentation this evening. And then I'm going to turn you loose to explore our website, our orientation website, which I shared with you earlier, but I'll go over in detail with you as part of this program. So again, I'm just going to give it one more minute. We have some more people signing in here. It's great to see the number of people that we have on here, and it's growing by the second. So just going to give people a second to sign in. So I appreciate your patience and flexibility as we try something new here at Pequannock Township High School, right? This year has been a year of growth and modifying and figuring things out. And this has certainly been a great way to have an orientation program. And so we're happy to do this for you tonight. All right, so Mr. Frederick, Ms. Milder, Mr. Silipini, you ready? Thumbs up? All right, we're good. All right, so we're going to get started with our program tonight. I know everybody has busy schedules running around trying to do different things. And, you know, this orientation process is certainly a new experience. You know, Mrs. Milder and I were talking right before this, and we said, you know, usually we're waiting at the front door for people to get here, and our cafeteria is packed with students as they are going to highlight their activities and their sports, and our teachers are ready to give demo lessons. But the reality is that's just not something we can do right now for the health and safety of everyone. And so when we thought about how we could do an orientation program, we thought, what better way to do it than virtually, and have our students and staff demonstrate how they use technology on a regular basis. I know you're seeing it daily in your classrooms, but how can we use the technology to highlight what Pequannock Township High School is all about and still give you that personal feeling? And so what I wanted to do tonight, and the administrative team wanted to do, was we wanted you to see us in person. This is the first time I probably had my mask off in a long time, but we're in the building by ourselves, and so we have the opportunity for you to see us without a mask. I do have mine here just in case, but we are practicing safety here at the high school. It's critically important during this time, but we wanted you to see us. That is a big part of the way that we build relationships. You know, right now, a lot of us are smiling with our eyes as we wear masks during the day, but I'm smiling just to have the opportunity to speak to you as parents and as hopefully the PTHS class of 2025. That is amazing to say, that it'll be 2025 when you are graduating high school. And it's so exciting. You know, I remember the year 2000, and now it's 2025 when you're going to be graduating high school. But I want to do some introductions here as we get started for the evening. And once again, for those of you just joining us, thank you for being here tonight. People will be kind of flowing in and out, but this will be recorded for you, and we'll post it on our orientation website for those that couldn't be here. But again, my name is Richard Hazler. I'm the proud principal here at Pequannock Township High School. This is my second year as the principal of PTHS. You as sixth graders at PV may remember me as your principal when you started at Pequannock Valley School. But welcome to those of you that are from other districts. We have Lincoln Park, Bloomingdale, Holy Spirit, and other schools throughout the community here as part of looking at our academy structure as well. So welcome, and I'd like to introduce some very special people in my life. They're my PTHS administrative team and also our superintendent of schools. So I guess I have to start with my boss. So I will introduce Mr. Portis, our superintendent of schools, and thank him for being here tonight. So Mr. Portis, just make sure you unmute yourself, and yep, there you go.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Hazler, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. Since I am a panelist, I can't tell how many of you there are out there, but I'm assuming it's a pretty good sized crowd. But we're really excited to have you hopefully attending Pequannock Township High School next year. The enthusiasm that you're sensing from Mr. Hazler is legitimate, and you will really feel it from the staff there, from the students, and really there's just a great sense of community at the school and really throughout the township. Just a quick note about tonight. I'm really proud of what the administrators and their team put together for tonight. And my comment to Mr. Hazler is that some people see barriers as endpoints and they turn around and go the other way. which we could have very easily done with trying to structure an orientation during a time of social distancing. But true to form, they looked at ways to get over, under, through, around, any way they could. They looked for ways to make it so the barrier was just a challenge to find creative solutions. And what you're going to be a part of tonight is part of not just what they did for tonight, but really a collective mindset. I'm really proud to be a part of that. So enjoy the night. If you have questions, please follow up with any of the people who you see right now. We're here to help. We love to help, and can't wait to see you starting in 2021. Thanks.
Thanks, Mr. Portis. I don't know if you want to stay on as a panelist or you just want to watch the presentation. Do you want to stay on, or?
I tell you what, it's kind of fun to watch. It's nice not to have to be in charge of something.
All right, so I will try and remove you as a panelist. Let's see how that works. I don't even know how to do that, but I may have to leave you on here for right now. So up next, I'd like to introduce my assistant principal, and that's Mrs. Jennifer Mildner.
Hi, my name is Jen Milner, and I'm the assistant principal here at PTHS. I'm also a graduate of PTHS, and for those that may be coming from Holy Spirit, I'm also a graduate of Holy Spirit School. So I started out in Catholic school, and then I said, you know, enough of that, and I said, let's go to the public high school and see what they have to offer. And I have to say, I have some very fond memories of going through PTHS. So I look forward to the opportunity for you to come and join us, and to also form those fantastic memories of coming here and taking part in everything we have to offer. My role here at PTHS is primarily discipline and attendance. However, I do work on the day-to-day aspects of making sure the students are taken care of, if they have any needs or concerns, and also for the staff and for the parents. So anything that you have day-to-day of concerns, I help to take care of. So I look forward to getting to meet all of you at some point where we can all be in person. And if you have any questions, my name is Jennifer Mildner, and so it's jennifer.mildner@pequannock.org. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions between now and the start of next year. And congratulations for your students to be moving up. It's going to come quickly.
Thank you, Mrs. Milner. I also have our assistant principal in charge of athletics. He's also the supervisor of health and phys ed, and that's Mr. Brian Silipina.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us here tonight. This is definitely one for the record books. Being a panelist, like Mr. Portis said, is really special. I'm honored. Thank you, Mr. Hazler. But seriously, for those of you that may recognize me, it's because I am the athletic director in the district, which goes 6th grade through 12th grade. So some of you may have seen me at the PV games if you play for Pequannock Valley Middle School. And I just want to say I cannot wait for you to be here next year. I'm really excited for you when Mr. Hazler lets you check out our website, see everything that we have here to offer. We truly do have something for everyone. We have 28 sports spread throughout 3 different seasons. And you're going to see, I don't want to ruin the surprises with all the videos, but you're going to see how big of a family we are collectively in the school, but for every single sport. It really is awesome. So I encourage all of you tonight, at the end, once you take some time, check out the videos that we have to offer. And like Mrs. Milner said, we're here to answer any questions tonight, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Mr. Silipina. Mr. Silipina has been here all day. He didn't go home. We had a soccer game, and so he stayed here, and we appreciate the time that he spends, not just with our athletes, but also with our coaches, and he's doing a great job running the athletic program. And then last but not least, I'd like to introduce our supervisor of student services. He is in charge of the guidance and special education departments, and that's Mr. Mark Frederick. Mark, I can't hear you for some reason. Uh-oh. I think Mr. Frederick lost his sound. We lost Mr. Frederick. All right, so while as he fixes his
Yes, Mr. Portis, that's right. 2020 strikes again. Thanks.
2020 strikes again.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, we still
Right.
can't hear you, Mr. Frederick. So I'll get back to you. Maybe you can run down here and introduce yourself. But while Mr. Frederick comes down, this is his first year here, and he's doing a tremendous job running our child study team and our guidance department. You're going to hear from him in a few minutes in terms of how we navigate guidance here at the high school and how our child study team works. So parents and students, we will have be able to answer any questions that you have regarding our special services and guidance departments later on as we go through. So I'm just going to give Mr. Frederick a chance to get down here, but I want to talk a little bit about tonight in terms of what it's going to look like. We're going to do a little bit of an overview with a presentation for you about the high school, and then we'll do a question and answer with the administration, so give you a chance to ask any questions that you have. And then I will review the website with you and turn you loose on it so that you have an opportunity to take a look at, as Mr. Silipina said, all that we have to offer. So I think Mr. Frederick's here, so I'm going to have him come up. I'm going to put my mask on so we practice social distancing and make sure that it's on correctly. And Mr. Frederick, you are up.
Good evening, everybody. So as you know, I think Mr. Portis said, it is 2020. Technology can sometimes be an issue, but as Mr. Hazler said, my name is Mark Frederick. I'm the supervisor of student services. Much like Ms. Milner, I'm a proud graduate of PTHS. And, I can say for all of you students coming up in families, I can tell you firsthand how successful someone could be when they leave this high school. And when I had the chance to possibly come back to this district, I jumped right on it. Myself professionally, all my goals, everything I've achieved is because of this high school and because of the people that have worked within it over the time and years. So I did want to give you an overview of our student services department. We have 4 guidance counselors, 2 student assistant counselors. Our guidance counselors mainly work with our students, and you'll kind of have some contact with them late in the spring, and they'll start talking to you about what your schedule is going to be. And the best advice I can give to parents and students, specifically when you're choosing your schedule, is think to the future. 8th graders right now, it is very important for you to start thinking about what do you want to do after high school? And you're going to say, Mr. Frederick, I'm not even thinking past the spring. But definitely when you think about something like that, it can guide your moves as you go through high school, whether it's the level of classes you take, whether it's the electives you take. But it's very important to always think about what that possible goal is. And our school counselors, I look at them as a part of the team of success. And what does that mean? That means that they're going to work with the families, with the students, and they're going to think about how can we help you get to where you want to be, whether that is college, the military, a trade school, the workforce. They're trained as well as I am, where we're going to do everything possible to help you. Along with that, you're going to understand that there's many different classes you have to take here at the high school, from your graduation requirements, from English, science, math, and science. And then on top of it, the number of different electives that we do offer. We have a wide variety of classes from AP, honors, and then going all the way down to Gen Ed. And then just to chime in with that too, I also want to speak about our special education department. Here at PTHS, we also have 3 case managers, a learning consultant, school psychologist, and social worker. As your student, if they do have an IEP or your child has an IEP, they will move up into the high school. They will get a new case manager. And once again, in the spring, there will be a meeting where there's a meeting so we can have a nice smooth transition. And I use the word transition a lot because I do think it's important. I do want to say, it is a pleasure being with all of you tonight, but I want you to think about what is that final goal? And that's something that you guys can talk about at dinner every night. It's something that should drive you to set those goals, because if you set a goal of what you want to do once you leave this high school, those dreams will come. I will tell you, this school, it's a place of excellence. And you coming here, we're excited. We want to help you get to whatever your dream is. So have a wonderful night. Mr. Hazler did a wonderful job putting all of this together. And once again, we're looking forward to seeing all of you very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Frederick. One of the things that he talked about is being a school of excellence. And what does that mean? Well, I think being a school of excellence means that we have a world-class staff, and teachers that go out of their way to make learning possibilities unimaginable for kids, and giving kids an opportunity to pursue their passions, giving students an opportunity to be challenged, giving students an opportunity to step outside of their comfort zone and experience things that they never knew were possible. It means having students that give everything they have every day. And that may look different every day. We're all going through something right now that nobody planned for. So we're taking it day by day. And all I expect is that you come in and you give your best every day. And so when I remember our orientation and I went down to the elementary schools to meet some of you as 5th graders, I remember the excitement and the energy that you had to sit with the peer leaders and talk about what it meant to come to PV. And I'm sure if you were at your elementary school, you had that same transition process from elementary to middle school. And now it's that, as Mr. Frederick said, that word transition again. It's making that jump to high school. And high school is that pinnacle, right? It's what we've worked for to get to this point, maybe since kindergarten, to say, wow, I'm going to make it to that high school one day. That's where I'm going to be. I see myself on the field hockey field, or I see myself in the marching band, or I see myself on the stage in our spring musical, or I see myself on the football field, or I see myself in the principal's office. That's right, in the principal's office, talking to the principal about what my life is going to be like after high school. What are my goals? Where do I want to go to college? What do I want to do? That's what I love having conversations about, your future. Because I want to see you be successful. I want to see you be a Jennifer Mildner, okay? A student that went to this high school and is now an assistant principal and successful. I want to see you be a Mark Frederick who went to this high school, played on a state championship football team, and is now the director of our guidance department. I want you to be a Brian Silipina, right? In charge of athletics, or doing something that you are so passionate about. Mr. Portis, right, becoming superintendent. He was an English teacher here at this high school, and I started my career here as a teacher. This place means something to all of us, and we're excited tonight to share that passion with you as students and as parents. And so I'm going to go over a presentation with you tonight. I'm going to share my screen, and each one of us is going to talk a little bit about the expectations at the high school, and then we'll do a little Q&A. So Mr. Frederick may have to run back down here in a little bit, so we'll get his wind sprints in, but we're going to get started here with sharing my screen. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see this as it pops up on the screen. All right, and we're going to get started. All right, so once again, our PTHS administration, we are also joined by a wonderful supervisor team. We have a K-12 structure here of our supervisors, and I'm very fortunate to have them work here at the high school with Michelle Bernardino, our supervisor of mathematics and our STEM academy. I have actually Mr. Mark Frederick is our supervisor of special services. I don't know why that's different, but and then we have Mr. Greg Jablonski is our supervisor of instructional data and technology. We have Ron Lucas, our director of security. We have Kristen Mallett, our supervisor of science, and Dr. Elizabeth Sheridan, our supervisor of social studies, and Ms. Carrie Thomas is our supervisor of language arts. Our guidance staff, Ms. Jillian Andreessen, Mr. Frederick talked about this, but Ms. Jillian Andreessen is one of our guidance counselors and also one of our student assistance counselors. And our student assistance counselors, they work with students in a variety of different ways, and we'll talk a little bit about what they do a little bit later. We also have an SLE program, which is Structured Learning Experience, and Mrs. Crocker is in charge of that process. That is for our upperclassmen, primarily our seniors, who during their senior year go and work. They take classes here part-time, and then they go and work for the rest of their credits. Many of these students have jobs already that they continue in their junior year, from their junior year. Maybe they're working outside after school and they bring it in and work in our SLE program. We also have Ms. Escudero, who's a guidance counselor and also works with Ms. Crocker in SLE. We have Mr. Klump, who is our guidance counselor and other student assistance counselor. And then Mrs. Marshall is one of our guidance counselors as well. And you'll see that picture there. That's Ms. Escudero on the left, Mrs. Crocker, Mrs. Marshall's right in the middle. We have Ms. Andreessen, and then Mr. Klump. And that's a picture, and that's how they are every day. They're a great team. They're always smiling. They want to be there to help support you. And I know you're probably familiar with guidance counselors at your middle schools. It works the same way here at the high school. They're going to guide you from not just your freshman year. They're going to come and meet you during your 8th grade year at whatever school you're in. They're going to talk about your courses. They're going to work with you on your recommendations and then build a portfolio for you through high school. And so they'll help you with your college applications. And parents, I know you're probably not thinking about that right now, but they will be working with you on your child's college applications as they get through your sophomore, junior, and senior year. And so it really begins now, as Mr. Frederick said, in planning and preparing for those moments. So that's our guidance staff. I'm also very fortunate to have an outstanding home and school association, and parents, we encourage you to be part of our home and school association. I know working at PV, you know, at the elementary school, there's a lot of participation in the home and school. We still need that participation at the high school. It's critically important, and we run a lot of great programs. In fact, on the 29th, hopefully you run out to Jersey Mike's and support the high school. They're running a fundraiser there with subs and things like that. So please go to Jersey Mike's and support our high school as we go and build towards your future as well. So let's talk a little bit about Pequannock Township High School and what it's going to offer you. These are our students. Okay, this was at one of our football games last year. Okay, obviously not this year, but last year, every football game we have a theme. This was a Hawaiian theme, so our students were all dressed up and ready to go. But I start off with this quote because it's one of my favorites from the book Lead Like a Pirate. I do a lot of reading, and students, reading is huge. Okay, I hope that you're at home, you get off technology, and you open up a book, because there's nothing more powerful than reading. I read all the time, and it's something that, you know, if I can read a book a week, whether it's for education, for my own growth, or just for fun, there's nothing better than opening up a book. And so there's a quote in that book that reminds me and drives me as the leader of the building. We want to create a school where students, staff, and parents are beating down the doors to get in, not out. Okay, and what that means is we want it to be a place where you want to be, where you feel safe, you feel supported, you feel challenged. You come to a place where it's fun. And most importantly, as I said before, you come to a place that's safe. Okay, and right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, and our students really enjoy being here. You know, not being in school from March to June, I hope you realize how important school is, and just being around your friends and being around your teachers and developing those relationships. I can't wait for that moment again where our students are all together in the stands, yelling, screaming. We see a little bit of that right now. Okay, it's obviously not a large crowd like that, but we still have students that come to our football games. They're socially distanced. They're behaving themselves. They do a tremendous job because they want to cheer on their classmates. It's a place where they want to be. And so that's a culture piece. And it starts with you as the freshman, right? We want you to not be afraid to come here, because there's going to be something for you, whether it's a club, an activity, or maybe it's your principal, or maybe it's a custodian, or maybe it's a lunch lady, somebody that you're connected to at this high school. That's what we look forward to providing for you. So we hope that energy is starting now as 8th graders in your middle school, where you guys are the leaders, and you're showing the 6th and 7th graders, or maybe even 5th graders in your school, that, hey, it's okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to show this pandemic that it's not going to break us. Okay, and that we are Golden Panthers. And so that's my challenge to you as you listen to this presentation. What difference am I going to make as a student at Pequannock Township High School? Because you can make a bigger difference than you think. And so as we go moving forward, let's talk a little bit about what that looks like, because we're going to focus on some key areas. We're going to focus on leadership. We're not just going to be leaders for you, we're going to build leaders. Okay, whether it's on a sports team, in the classroom, in your extracurricular activities, in your community service projects, we're going to help you establish leadership skills, communication skills, organizational skills. We're going to provide you with clear expectations and consistency. Hopefully you're going to be comfortable knowing that, hey, I know Mr. Hazler. I remember him when he was my principal in 6th grade. Okay, and you already have a familiar face here. You're going to see me a lot if you're in the other schools. I'm going to come and talk with you over the next couple of weeks, and we'll have conversations about what it means to be a high school student. You know, so those expectations and communication will be set for you early on. We're going to foster relationships. You're going to create new relationships and make new friendships. You're going to get to meet new teachers and hold on to the ones that you were really close to in your middle school experience. You know, you see here, that's a picture of some of our students that were involved in our musical. And if some of you at PV recognize that, that's the PV hallway. Okay, they came down to watch the musical when they had it at PV, and they wanted to support the middle school students. Build those relationships so that you become part of the program when you get here. Much like our marching band for some of you that participate as 8th graders now. And then lastly, we focus on outcomes, not just in the classroom, but as Mr. Frederick said earlier, what goals do you have set for yourself? That's a picture of our FBLA on the stage at their national competition, where they got to sit in the front row. And what that means is you sit based on how successful you are in your organization. And Pequannock Township High School was sitting at a national conference in the front row because our kids worked towards that outcome. All year long, they took tests, they worked together, they challenged themselves to be better. Okay, and these are students that work hard in the classroom, they work hard in their activities because they want to be great. And it takes work, but it's driven towards outcomes. My outcome gets back to my quote, create a school where people want to be at, not run out of. Okay, and so those are our key areas that we're going to focus on. What do we believe in? We believe in meeting you where you are. Every morning, Mrs. Milner, Mr. Silipina, Mr. Frederick, and I stand in the hallway. And one of the first words that come out of my mouth is, it's great to see you. I am glad you're here. I know it takes effort to get up every morning. You have a lot of stuff at your fingertips, whether it's technology or your favorite TV show, Netflix, whatever's popular right now. Right? I'm glad you get up to school, go to school every day, or you log into your computer if you're learning at home. That's huge. It's big. And it takes a lot of responsibility and accountability. And sometimes you fail. Sometimes you struggle. But that's where we learn. And so we meet you where you are. I'm not expecting every student to walk in here and be a straight A student. Okay? I expect you to be challenged. And we'll work through that with you. We're going to meet you where you are. We're going to have purposeful, relevant learning. You should ask your teachers, why am I learning this? What's the purpose of this? And our teachers are going to create those uncommon experiences for you. And I'll give you an example. Okay, last year, and you don't take physics until your junior or senior year, but I walked into a physics class, and our physics teacher had the piano out. He was on the stage of our auditorium, and he had the students looking into the piano. And I'm like, well, this isn't music class. He was playing the piano, and students were figuring out the frequency of sound waves. Okay, it wasn't a formula up on a board and saying, okay, this is how you calculate it. He was bringing in those uncommon experiences. Our psychology teacher just last week had students drop an egg on the floor, and they were learning about trauma and what it does to the brain. Okay, we're creating uncommon experiences so that when you get excited to run into those classrooms every day because you're wondering what's next. Okay, and I'm sure you've had some of those experiences in middle school. We're going to continue that at the high school. We want to be transparent. Parents, I'm going to frequently communicate with you. Just like I'm sure you're aware, Mr. Seborowski sends those newsletters every day. If you're a student at PV, I do the same thing. I do a lot of videos like the one I sent in my email to you. We communicate all the time. Students, we communicate through our social media account on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube. But we have high expectations. And so we want to be transparent about those expectations. And then finally, we want to have collaborative classrooms and a collaborative school where students feel comfortable expressing themselves creatively. We want to give you feedback and dialogue so that this isn't my school, this is your school. And so what can we do to make it better? Example, today I had a student in my office and we were talking about how we can make our current schedule better for students and staff. Because we're going through this for the first time, this hybrid learning. So how can we make it better? Maybe we shorten the day up. Maybe we look at how we can adjust the afternoon periods. There's a variety of things that we look at because we want to make our experience the best that it possibly can be because that's what we believe in. We believe in collaboration in our classrooms and in our schools. Mr. Frederick talked a little bit about the graduation requirements. I won't have him sprint down here, so I'll just cover it for him. But you look at the graduation requirements that we have to take at the high school. So I started off with English at the top, and you'll see that it says 4 years in parentheses and the number of credits next to it. Okay, you have to take 4 years of English. So if you're working, I'm going to test your math here. Okay, somebody put it in the chat. How many credits is one English class? Put it in the chat, students. How many credits is one English class? Let's see. If anybody can get it. I'm waiting for the chat to pop up. Let's see. Oh, we got one. Let's see. All right. We got JH says 5. Ava says 5. Way to go. Michael, nice job. Okay. So 5 credits. Okay. Excellent, Courtney. Good job. All right. So an English class is worth 5 credits. Well, Mr. Hazler, what's a credit? Okay, so at the high school level, and this is a little bit different than middle school, you earn credit for every class that you take because we have graduation requirements that you must pass and that colleges look at. Okay, and so colleges look to make sure that you have 4 years of English. Our state of education, our New Jersey State Board of Education requires that you have 4 years of English. Okay, you'll see that there's 3 years of mathematics. Science, you have 3 years of a lab science, okay, which means that you have biology, chemistry, physics, or environmental science. You have 1 year of world history and 2 years of U.S. history. You have 4 years of phys ed, okay, as a requirement, 2 years of world language. And then you'll see that you have financial literacy and a course called Contemporary Business Information Technology. Okay, and those classes you'll take in your freshman year to fulfill some of the requirements that you need to take as a high school student. You have to take classes in 21st century careers, okay, and that will be narrowed down for you by your guidance counselors because there's certain courses that fit that category. For example, maybe you want to go into journalism, or you want to be an artist, or you want to go into forensics. There's maybe computer design, computer assisted drafting, computer science. Those all fall in 21st century careers. And then lastly is visual and performing arts. Okay, and that'll be your art classes, music, theater, drama, all those things that might fit into visual and performing arts. And so over your 4 years, you're going to take these classes. Okay, and I don't have a sample schedule for you because everybody's schedule is different. But you can see that in your freshman year, you're going to have to take English, math, science, social studies, world language, phys ed, and your financial literacy course. And that's really going to be your schedule, and you'll get to pick one more elective. Okay, so I know a lot of questions might be geared towards your classes. We have all different levels, which we'll talk about too. Okay, we have honors, academic levels, and then if you are a student who may have an IEP, we have those classes as well that fit those parameters. So overall, you'll see on the left-hand side that you have to have 140 credits in order to graduate from Pequannock Township High School. And so your counselors will work with you on how to set up those graduation requirements. And again, I'll answer any questions that you have. So if you have a question, you want to put it in the chat, or you want to put it in the question and answer feature, please do so at any time, and we'll address them at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to turn this over to Mrs. Milder. She's going to talk a little bit about some of the academic requirements.
So beyond the courses and the credits that Mr. Hazler mentioned, there are other types of classes and levels that you can take. We do have 13 possible AP courses. That means advanced placement courses that you can take. And if you score well on the AP exams, those credits can transfer to colleges that you may want to attend. So as you get further on, maybe around 11th and 12th grade, you could take some of those AP courses in areas maybe that you would have interest in pursuing when you go to college. For honors classes, you do need recommendations. Your teachers will recommend you from 8th grade to 9th grade, 9th grade to 10th grade, and so on. So that involves your grades, but also your effort and your interest in that subject. So if you have a great interest, you probably are doing very well in that subject, so you may be recommended for the honors level. In regards to attendance, as Mr. Hazler said, everything is based on credits. You have to fulfill a certain number of credits to be able to graduate. Attendance ties into that. When you attend a class, you're earning the credit in that class. If you are missing that class, you may be losing credits in that class. So for example, a full year course, you need to make sure that you are attending, of course, every day. We know things happen. You get sick, something's going on. But if you miss more than 16 classes in a full year course, and that's unexcused, meaning you weren't getting your driver's license, you weren't sick, you didn't have a doctor's note, you weren't visiting a college, I decided not to go to school that day. If you have more than 16 absences, you will lose credit in that class. And then that creates an issue for you for potentially graduating. So you have to make sure that you are attending your classes. So phys ed, that would be 12, everything adds up to 16. So phys ed is 12 with the health class is another 4. And then your semester courses are 8. And then your full year courses are 16. So if you miss more than those numbers of days in those classes, then you would not get credit. So at high school, it's different. It's based on not only the full day absence, but also the absence in that particular period that you're attending.
And I noted in there, being a principal of PV, I was working in trimesters, but I also know I think this year you guys moved to marking periods as well. So we'll look at your trimester 1 and 2 grades, and we'll also look at this year's marking period 1 and marking period 2 grades as 8th graders. So we adjust based on what school you're at. We look at your motivation and your aptitude, and that comes from recommendation from your teachers. And I know we didn't take any NJSLA tests, so that's not really going to be part of the rubric, but we will look back on some of your previous scores just to see how you're doing, because those are decent barometers for success at a high school level. And so thank you, Mrs. Milder, for explaining those academic requirements. And again, our program of studies is always available. Our program of studies for next year is going to be approved in December. So we're actually already talking about our courses for next year. I have a meeting tomorrow, actually, with some of our counselors. And so we're going to work at talking about already planning for you to get here with your courses. So we also have academies at the high school, and this is something that's been going on now for a number of years, part of our academic program. We have 4 academies: our Allied Health Academy, our STEM Academy, our Teaching and Learning Academy, and our Aviation Academy. And you can apply as a student, whether you're from Bloomingdale, Lincoln Park, PV, or any of the schools, if you are interested in applying to these academies. So our Allied Health Academy, our internships are at Chilton Medical Center, and you can earn college credit from Rutgers University. When I show you our website at the end of this presentation, I actually do a video for you that'll explain all of our academies. So when you have a moment, take a look at it, and because it really does provide you with a lot of information. But you may be interested in our STEM Academy or our Teaching and Learning or Aviation. We would encourage you to apply, and that application process will be happening soon. I'll be going over that with you when I visit your individual schools. But our application will be online that you'll complete, and it does require some recommendations from your teachers and an interview. So depending on where we are, the interview may be through Zoom, which will be more than likely, but the applications will be due in January. So we go through that process with you, and then you'll be selected into the academy, and you'll follow the academy schedule here. So you'll still take some of the requirements that I went over with you, but there's also requirements from these academies as well because you earn credits. So we do have 4 academies here at the high school. And you'll see these are our students here in our Allied Health Academy. They have scrubs that they wear when they go over to the hospital, and they do internships over there. This is our STEM Academy, doing some CAD work, computer-assisted drafting, and they do a great job. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Silipina. Mr. Silipina is going to talk about our athletic program.
Good evening again, everyone. So this slide here talks about all the different athletic sports that we have here at PTHS. Like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, it is broken up into 3 seasons: the fall, the winter, and the spring. Currently, we are in the fall season right now. So we do have opportunities for students to, we'll start by talking about being a fan at games. Right now, we're limiting the amount of people that can come to football games to seniors and some juniors right now that are signing up for tickets. But all the other games that are played on Memorial Field, which right now would be field hockey, boys and girls soccer, they're open for anyone to come to. And we've had some fantastic crowds so far this fall. And, I love going out there every single day. And I kind of use this corny line saying, watching ordinary students do extraordinary things athletically every single day. But I do take great pride in that. I take great pride in being your athletic director. And putting this season together was no easy task, but we did put it together. And, I'm always out there to do what's best for your children. And that goes all the way from 6th grade all the way through senior year. Like I mentioned before, some of you may have seen me outside at the games at PV. And I love watching those games as much as I love watching the high school games. I just love watching student athletes do their very best every single day. You also know that when we talked about credits before, and I don't know if I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, Mr. Hazler, if there was another slide, but credits are very important when we're talking about athletics. And you need to pass 30 credits during the entire school year in order to be eligible for next year at the beginning in the fall. But as incoming 9th graders, you're automatically eligible to play any sport in the fall when you come in as a freshman. So we are looking forward to you signing up for something. And again, I'm not going to ruin the surprise on all the fantastic videos that we have in store for you tonight. But I would definitely recommend that you click on as many sports as you can and get to know our head coaches, because we really do have A+ top class assistant coaches and head coaches at every single level, every single program. And I'm proud of every single one of them. And, you know, we talk about, if you go on the athletic website for PTHS, you see our philosophy, and it's based upon education-based athletics. And basically all that is using athletics as a platform to teach your children life lessons, whether it's preparing for games or playing in games. You know, they're learning all those necessary life lessons, but they can learn on and through an athletic platform, which is really cool. So I'm proud of everything we do out there on a daily basis, and we're looking forward to seeing you sign up and get out there on the courts and on the fields.
Thank you, Mr. Silipina. Our field hockey team just won today. They won the conference, I believe. Mr. Silipina came in and said, and you know, they've been doing all of our teams have been so competitive. Our marching band just participated in the state competition, and they have their national competition coming up this weekend. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on at our high school, and we're trying as best that we can to maintain those programs as we go moving forward. So, you know, the winter sports season, I have a meeting tomorrow with the high school principals in our county to talk about winter sports and getting those started as well. So I know many of you who play sports in town and play for PV, you know, when you come to the high school, this is the culmination of all of that hard work that you put into your sports. And so we look forward to seeing you, for those of you that are interested. And you may come to the high school and say, I've never played a sport. That's okay. If you want to come out, we'd love to have you. So don't hesitate. Some of our extracurriculars. So I'll turn this over again to Mrs. Milner, and she'll talk about our extracurricular program, and then we'll finish up.
Thank you, Mr. Haisler. One of the most important things you can do when you begin high school is to really get involved. Those that are in town here, really, we have a great Parks and Rec program. We have some great intramurals. We have great participation in all different types of things throughout the town, and dance clubs and all types of things. And one of the most important things is really to continue that and to get involved with the high school. If sports are not your thing, we have plenty of clubs. Or do both. You're able to do both. You're able to take part in a number of extracurriculars that we have. So whether you're musical, whether you're more academic, whether you're dramatic and you want to be part of our plays, whether you would like to help out with programs like our Operation Smile, our Panther Pals, maybe you want to write for the school newspaper, maybe you enjoy the world languages and you want to take part in one of the clubs in the world languages. There's so many different opportunities for you to be involved, and that's the most important thing, whether it's a sport on the field, whether it's a club in the building, whether it's both. We encourage that. It allows you to meet more teachers. It allows you to meet more students. And it, you know, for those that are going to college, it's great on your transcript as well. But I think it's a great opportunity to learn, how do you fundraise? How do you advertise? How do you communicate with the community? How do you meet other people? What's out there for these types of interests that you have? And you'll be amazed at how many other opportunities are created just by maybe joining Operation Smile. You would be amazed. We have students that have gone to other countries and have taken part in some of those programs that you may see on TV. Sometimes you see things advertised on TV and programs on TV, and our students have gone to those places. So it's really, really amazing what you could do just by joining a club. So please take part, take a look at our extracurriculars. Next year, you know, they will still be there. So, you know, please get involved and, you know, reach out to the teachers. We know times are a little bit different right now, but these clubs are still happening, just maybe happening in a slightly different way, but they're happening. So get involved, very important.
Thank you, Mrs. Milner. So we're going to finish up by saying we're all in this together. You know, you're going to be coming and being part of a team. And when you're part of a team, you're part of something bigger, right? Because everyone's working together as a whole. And so it's about communication. It's about building connections. It's about being present, right? Whether you're learning virtually now or you're in school, be present, work hard, and have realistic expectations. Parents, That's for you too. Have realistic expectations for your child and for the high school environment. A lot of us that go, when their child goes to high school, they want the child to have the same experience as they did. Or maybe they want them to have a totally different experience than you did at a high school setting. Let them have their own experience, because it really is critically important. Growing up today, you guys are growing up in a much different way than we did when we were kids. And so there are things that are much better and there are things that are tough. Technology is tough. Okay, having that at your fingertips all the time is not easy. I know for myself with soon to be teenager, it's something that it drives you guys. And so here at the high school, we want you to see the world outside of technology too, because there's so much more to offer and take advantage of. So those are really 4 things that we're all going to work on together: communication, building connections, being present, and having realistic expectations. I encourage you to follow us on PTHS on Twitter and Instagram at PTHS Nation. We use our hashtag #NockNation, and you'll see that our students and our teachers and Mr. Silipina, we're posting all the time, and you'll see kind of live stream what's going on. So if you have social media as parents or students, we encourage you to follow us, and you'll see that kind of tonight's program, which I went way over because I talk a lot. But what I want to do is go through just the website with you very quickly, and then we'll turn you loose. Take the opportunity to watch the videos, check out the resources, and we'll be here to answer questions for you. But we're going to have potential opportunities to tour the building in the spring, and then we also have our freshman orientation in August, where you come up and go through the process. So I see some questions coming up in the chat. We're gonna address in a second. But you'll see, this is who we are as a high school, and we have a lot going on. In the bottom right-hand corner, that's in our media center. Kids play chess. We have students working on video game design. We have Mr. Arnold there in the middle. He'll play the flute in the middle of the hallway in passing time. We have our tennis and football teams. Our field hockey team there on the left. There's so many different things that happen here at the high school on a daily basis. In fact, that's on the right side there, that's a picture of Mr. Portis. He'll stop in and he'll guest lecture and teach classes from time to time. That's the kind of high school that we're looking to build. And so moving forward, I'm going to just stop sharing for a second because I want to show you the website, and then we'll address some questions for you. All right. But let me just share my screen again, come back out. And let's see. Let me escape this here. Stop presenting. It's not going to let me stop presenting. It doesn't let me stop presenting. Hold on. Stop sharing. We go here. There we go. The beauty of technology. Okay, so we created this website for you, which I sent to you in an email. You're going to see that there's a variety of things on this website, okay? And I encourage you over time, you don't have to do it all tonight, okay? Look at this website over time, but you'll see here right on the first page, we have a Google form that you can fill out just to let us know you're here. You can ask questions at any time, and we will get back to you. Things that you might have. If it's after this session and you come up with some questions, put them in this form, and we'll get back to you. But you'll get a chance to meet us. I have a little welcome message, which you heard, but I would encourage you to listen to Josie Struble. She's a senior at our high school and our student council president. She'll tell you her experience of what it's like to be a student. And it really is fascinating, because I remember her as a 6th grader, and now she's our senior class president and student council president. Every Friday, we play our alma mater over the loudspeaker, and we stand up and sing it. So this is our social distance version of our alma mater that our choir does. So I would encourage you to check that out. You can go and take a tour. So our students in our FBLA did a tour for you, and I talk a little bit about some of the special things that are at the high school. Mr. Silipina rather talked about athletics. He has a little message for you, and then you can go down to the bottom. There's a varsity athlete roundtable where you can hear from some of our athletes about what it means to be a student athlete at Pequannock Township High School. You can hear from our athletic trainer, and then you can go down here and you can reach out to the coaches, and if you click on their names, they all have videos about their sports. So if you're interested in playing girls volleyball, you can hear from Coach Van Orden. If you want to be a cheerleader, you can hear from our cheerleaders and Mrs. Horgan, and you can email them if you're interested. If you want to fill out a Google form to let them know you're interested, just click on the sport, and it's all there for you. So all of our sports are listed all the way down through the spring. Okay, so if you're interested in sports, I encourage you to check out those videos. You can email the coaches. You can sign up using the Google forms here. So there's a lot to do. If you're interested in the academies, okay, and it's something you want to apply to, listen to my overview about the academy program and what it can offer you. And then the application process will be up there soon. We have clubs and activities. Okay, so we have all kinds of videos for you to look at. If you're interested in joining a club, all of our students posted videos for you. They want to show you what our high school is all about. If you want to know about our child study team or guidance, our media center, our nurse, just click on one of those pages and Mr. Frederick and our guidance staff will talk with you. We have more information about where do our students go to college. Okay, if you click on PTHS information, you'll see here there's a ton of information about our faculty and staff and some of our accomplishments and what we offer here at the high school. So there's so much to look at. Here's a list of our college acceptances for the parents, so you can see where some of our seniors ended up going last year. Here's our school profile. So again, so much to look at. You can hear from our supervisors, and you can see us and what we're doing on YouTube. Okay, so we post videos all the time. These are just samples, but these were our students when we talked about some of our safety procedures, masking up. You can see our jazz band perform, our a cappella group. We did a teacher lip sync last year, which we hope to do again. You can see our virtual spring concert, or you can see me doing my crazy announcements that I send out all the time. So that was my Rocky-themed morning announcement for Wellness Day last year. So you can check those out. But this website is available for you. I'll send it again out to you and to Mr. Seborowski to make it part of his newsletters. But again, there's so much there for you. And I know it can be overwhelming, but just take one thing at a time. You can watch this for a week, okay? And little bits and pieces. Spend 10 minutes a night just looking at things that you're interested in. Because this night is usually 2 to 2.5 hours long, okay? We're going to spend an hour with you. But I would encourage you to spend the next hour maybe going through this website from the comfort of your house, okay, and sitting at your couch as you go. I see some questions in the chat here, which we can answer. Do Bloomingdale students have to complete an in-district or out-of-district application? You guys would create, if you're applying for the academies, an out-of-district application. So we'll talk about that. For Lincoln Park, so Lincoln Park students, you are limited to applying for just the aviation and the health academies only, because Booton High School does offer a STEM academy and a teaching and learning academy. So if you're going to apply to Pequannock, it would be for the allied health and the aviation classes. And so if you are a student from a different district and you're interested in the academies, you can apply to the academy program. Or if you're from another town, it may require tuition. So that's something where if you have questions, just reach out to me individually, and I can address that for you, depending on your situation. But our academy programs for Lincoln Park and Bloomingdale, we do have a setup with them. So where the district actually pays for those students to come here as part of the academy program. What sets our STEM Academy apart from others? When you think about our STEM Academy, we do offer a senior internship program, and we do a lot outside the school for the students, and they also are earning college credit. They'll get upwards of 20 credits from Seton Hall University, and those are all college-approved courses that run dual enrollment. There was a question in there for Unified Sports. Mr. Silpina, you want to talk about Unified Sports real quick?
Yes, Unified Sports is our newest sports program here at the high school, and it is partnering up general education students with special education students, and it's one of our hallmark programs, in my opinion, in this school, because it's allowing that athletic experience to everybody in our school. Last year we had unified basketball, and just not to get into it too much, but the way it works is we have 3 special education students on the court at one time with 2 general education students, and we play against another school. So there is true competition, and it is a branch of Special Olympics New Jersey. And proud to say that Mr. Coach Lefevre does a phenomenal job. He and his staff training our student athletes on a daily basis. And it is a sport just like football, just like basketball, just like tennis. It is total inclusion. And I encourage you to come out. And that's linked with our Panther Pals program for the general education students. And if you're not interested in joining that program, come on out and just watch one of the basketball games, or come out and watch one of our track meets. It truly is awesome.
It's a highlight of my year, going to those games and watching students work together to achieve success, and the pride that everyone has. The gym's rocking. It's just an awesome experience. We had some questions also. Can a student apply to more than one academy? Yes, you can. And if you would make it into both, you can pick the one that you want to get into. And then how many out-of-district students are accepted into the academies? It really depends on how many people apply. It doesn't mean that if you apply, you do get in, but we do look at the number of applications that we have and the qualifications for you for that program. I will be doing an academy presentation at the schools and also an academy night for parents like this, where you can log in and see the presentation. But if you watch the presentation on that website, it's going to be very similar to the presentation that I'm going to give. So I wanted to give you guys as 8th graders tonight the first crack at seeing it. So that was my run through I did the other day for you. So if you have questions about the academies or anything, you can email Mr. Frederick or myself. We're happy to answer any questions that we have for you about those academies. But we're going to be doing a parent program in early November about strictly about the academies, and be able to answer any questions that you have. And that'll be for parents and students, very much like this setting tonight, as an informative piece. So I don't know if there's any other questions out there in the universe. We tried to answer as many as we could there with our chat. But feel free to, we'll leave it open for another minute or so. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming. We had about 60 people on tonight, and that means that, hopefully you were sitting there with your parents. This is an awesome time for you. Just an awesome time as an 8th grader. You get to lead your school. You work so hard to establish those and wait to be 8th graders. And I know this might not be the year that you thought it would be yet. Okay, we're just starting. It's the end of October. We still have a long way to go. My goal for you is to take it in, enjoy it. Okay, take advantage of every opportunity that's presented to you. When the school offers something for you to do, do it. Okay, because whatever school you go to, they're trying really hard to provide you with activities. Your teachers are working tirelessly to provide you with lessons, that are meaningful and that will prepare you for the moment that you walk through these doors as a student at Pequannock Township High School. Because I promise you this, when you get here, we're going to give you everything we have. We're going to give you everything, 100% every day. I'm going to greet you in the hallway every day when you walk in here, and I'm going to say, I'm glad you're here. This team that you see right here, we work together as one collective unit and with the best interests of you guys in mind. And as parents, I know for some of you, this might be the first child that you send to high school. Congratulations. Okay, and for those of you that have a returning, this might be your second or third, let them have their own experience too. And so moving forward, we're gonna work together to achieve success and make Pequannock Township High School the best place that it can be. So welcome to Golden Panther territory. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you to Mr. Portis for joining us. There's a question, just a couple more questions that popped up here. Is there a cost associated with Lincoln Park student attending high school? If you make it into the academy, no, there is no cost. The dual enrollment with NJIT for STEM, that would be anybody that gets into the program, okay? Whether you're out of district or in district, when you're in the STEM Academy, those classes will be dual enrollment credit, okay, for the STEM Academy. So you'll be earning credits. Upwards of, you could earn upwards of 31 credits in some of our academies, which is pretty amazing. And for parents, cha-ching, right? So that's money that you may not have to pay at college. So again, thank you very much for being here tonight. Please check out our website. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter if you can at PTHS Nation. Enjoy the rest of your night. Let's go Panthers. Take care, everybody.
Have a good night. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone.